Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Future Nation Schools frequently asked session. My name is Piello Mokete. I'm part of the Future Nation Schools marketing team, and I will be your facilitator for the session today. Just to provide some guidance on how today's session will proceed, we're going to start off with a campus tour, which will be a video, after which we will have a presentation by our head of schools, which is Mema Mpolanga, which will then be followed by the questions that you've asked being answered by Mema Mpo. And just to provide some house rules for the session, we would kindly like to request that everyone keep their mics muted and keep their cameras off. And should you have any questions during the course of the presentation, please feel free to type your questions into the chat box. And when we get to the question and answer session, Mema Mpo will get through to your questions. Now we're going into the campus tour. Please enjoy.
Welcome to Future Nation Schools. Our mission is to produce young people who are confident about themselves and are passionate about what they do. We believe our students have what it takes to become our country's next leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs who value the fact that we are African and are ready for the 21st century. Future Nation Schools aims to lead the African education revolution through our relevant, futuristic, Africa-focused and technology-enabled approach to education. Our network of schools consists of 2 campuses, one in Lyndhurst, which is less than 7 minutes away from Sandton, and the other in Vleerhof, near Roodepoort. Starting from 18 months old, Future Nation Schools offers quality, affordable, African-centered education for preschool, primary, and high school. Our program consists of an enhanced National CAPS curriculum, which includes coding, robotics, and the use of technology in the classroom, and an IEB examination in grade 12. The secret to our success is our unique teaching methodology known as project-based learning that we use from preschool right through to grade 12. Students gain knowledge and skills by working on a long-term, real-world driving question to investigate and respond to their newfound knowledge authentically, engagingly, and enjoyably. Each project is framed by a meaningful problem that challenges students to find solutions. Students must engage in a rigorous, extended process of asking questions, finding information, and applying the information to inform their chosen solution. All projects are developed within a real-world context with real consequences and potential, sometimes even creating opportunities for entrepreneurial skills to be developed. Through project-based learning, students learn to think critically, solve problems, collaborate, and communicate to answer their driving question. And because this model requires students to do much more than simply remember information, studies have found that students using project-based learning understand content more deeply and retain what they learn longer. Because of this approach, we keep our classroom small. Every student is recognized as a unique individual with the ability, ambition, and desire to learn and grow beyond what she or he thought was possible. In addition to project-based learning, Africa stands at the heart of everything we do. Not only is it key for us to show our students that knowledge does not only come from the West, but we believe it's vital that young people recognize that they have a place, a really important place in the world, where they can solve problems that have global implications. But it's not only what goes on in the classroom that matters. Each of our campuses also offers a number of sporting and cultural activities that develop young people in terms of their communication, leadership, debating, and critical thinking skills that cultivates a culture of diversity, fun, respect, integrity, and passion.
The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra here at Future Nation Schools.
Just like the school's tagline, someday all schools will teach this way.
We can't wait to help shape your child's future.
Welcome back, everyone. We will now be getting into the presentation leg of the session. And without any further ado, I will then be handing over to Memampo Langa to carry on with the presentation.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our frequently asked questions. We are going just to take you through some of the questions. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions. No question is funny or no question is too big for us. Anything that makes you uncomfortable, we are here to help. Over to you, Pielo, with the presentation. We can't see anything. Pielo. Okay, there we go. There we go. Thank you so much, Pielo. Now, the first thing that we'll talk about, I think most of you have heard about it, that who is this Future Nation Schools? We always emphasize the issue of high quality education. Why do we say that? Because we're offering project-based learning. And project-based learning, I will just say in a nutshell, we allow our students to explore, we allow our students to investigate, we allow them to learn independently. And that way, it makes them to understand the curriculum better. I know most people would always associate it with the technology or some tech school. No. Yes, because they design projects from what they learn, it makes it to have a lot of tech that they would use. It is an affordable private school. Why do we say so? Because we are writing an IEB exam. Most of the schools that at our level, they charge 4 times what we're charging, but we're able to get things like your 100% pass with almost a 1/8 or 1/6 of most of these schools. Why are we African focused? We want our students to start knowing that knowledge does not come from Europe or America. They should understand they are capable of being innovative. How do we do that? We talk more about African leaders. We talk more about what our indigenous knowledge systems are, like our medicinal values that our grandparents used to have. Anything that originates in Africa, but it was never mentioned. Those are things we bring out. That's where the first African focus comes in. We're technology driven in the sense that you've seen that they do robotics, computing is compulsory as early as grade R up to grade 11. So every child, by the time they leave the school, some of them would have acquired about 6 certificates that are recognized. So it is not just only computing, that's not anyway. Our values are very important, especially I think most of you have seen, we've talked about passion. We want passionate teachers. We want teachers who love what they are doing, respect. We believe in excellence. Excellence in the sense that we believe every child is capable of getting 60%. That is why our pass mark is 60%. That's the way it comes from. We believe in diversity. We don't have any issues with the type of religion your child has or the color of the skin. Everyone is embraced in our school. The next slide, please. Oh, I've already explained the project-based learning. I won't go through it. I always don't want us to talk about the enhanced curricular CAPS because most people think it's a government curriculum. We are using a national curriculum, but we are an IEB school. We are not a government, a national education school. We are a government school. That is why our pass requirement, we're not a government school. Our pass requirement are different. Our lesson formats, we follow what we call the SAGs, and the SAGs are guided by IEB. Most of our lessons are on the portal, all of them. There's minimal money that you spend on textbook. But on subjects like mathematics, they might say request a book because it needs a lot of practice. But subjects like English or FAL, which is your first additional language, they might say buy literature. So you will get a list that will tell you what to buy. And because we are not a money handling school, we use a carry. So when you get appointed in the school, you will get all the correspondence coming to you. I've indicated assessments. We are not different from other schools when it comes to assessment. What makes us different is that, yes, we design projects, yes, we use rubrics, but we have to write tests. we have to teach coding. We have to teach mathematics, and we have to assess our student, and finally write end of the year exams. I've indicated about robotics and coding, starting from grade R up until grade 11. We have strict requirements, which I've indicated it's a pass mark at grade 12, and at grade, all the grades, actually as early as the little ones, they'll tell you, what's the pass mark at IEP, at Future Nation School? They'll always say 60%. They know it. It's also in our policy. So it's not something that is very strange. But I've noticed that parents always get uncomfortable with the 60%. They'll always say, yo, my child comes from a school where they used to pass with a 30%. How do I deal with my child when he is not or she is not coping? We always make our parents aware if there's an issue, but we are there to support your child. We are there to give extra classes. We are there to help as much as we can. We also have contact on an ongoing with our students. Students who do not proceed in our schools are students who do not want to work very hard. Our teachers work very hard, they work extra classes, and they don't expect you to pay them for that. So please encourage your child to work hard. Our pass rate in our school is about 90%. You'll find that in a class of about 25 or about 30, 4 or 3 students are the one who do not succeed. And we do not wait until the end of the year for us to tell you that your child is not performing. So we will keep you posted that there's something happening with your child, and you don't have to wait up until we call you. If you feel uncomfortable, come in and make an appointment and say, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable. My child is not doing well. Can I make an appointment with the English teacher? Can I make an appointment with a maths teacher? Such parents are gladly welcome in our school. Next slide, please. Well, I've spoken about our results that this is our second year now, third year this year with the matric, and we're expecting another 100% pass. We know that we are writing IEB. Most people always thought, IEP is very expensive. It's very difficult. Your students might not cope. But with our first and second cohort of students, we managed to get 100% pass. And we're definitely improving by the year. That is why I always insist we're charging the fee of schools that have been in the market for more than 100 years. We are only 7 years, but we managed to produce that, and we are really proud of that. Thank you. Yes, we're talking here about preschools. We have preschools taking from 18 months up to grade R, and our preschools is open throughout the year. It is a preschool. It is not a crash. Our students learn. Some of them, by the time they finish grade R, they can read like grade 1s and 2s. So there's a lot of teaching that goes in our preschool. We have foundation phase from R up to 3, intermediate phase 4 to 6. I want to emphasize our senior phase, which is the high school. It starts from grade 7 to 9, not grade 8. I see most of the school, their high school starts at 8. Senior phase, it's 7 to 9. FET is 10 up to 12. I've indicated earlier on about our preschool that you can register anytime. We are a registered preschool. All our teachers are first aid trained, and they get assessment. We get also extracurricular activities that we give to our students. And if you come through our school, you will see that it is a learning rich environment. We are using the Montessori philosophy because it aligns very well with project-based learning. So the parents who know Montessori will know what I'm talking about. We are not 100% Montessori, but the philosophy, the equipments that we use of touching, handling, that's what we do. Experiential learning, that's what we do. We always start at 7 up to 5:30 for our students, so that it gives you the parents an opportunity if they cannot pick up the child on time. We have a holiday program Holiday program, it implies when the schools are closed, we're able to take care of your child. But very important to note is that since the COVID was a issue, we don't cook in our schools, but we do have a lady who is providing lunch, and maybe all those can be inquired inside. You are not forced to pay for lunch. You can prepare your own lunch. Next slide, please. Okay, I've indicated some of the things like academic excellence. Definitely that one, no doubts about it. We have high expectations of our students. We believe our students can achieve 60%. Telling them that they are a 30 type makes them feel they're not capable of achieving great heights. We emphasize leadership as much as we call our life orientation subject. Is not called life orientation, it's called leadership. You will see a lot of them. They definitely change once they come into our school. Entrepreneurship, we are introducing it. We have introduced it by incorporating it into the subjects. Subjects like life orientation and EMS, they do entrepreneurship. We are not talking about just marketing at the end of the year and we call it entrepreneurship. We're talking about skills of decision making. We're talking about skills where a child, what do you do when you fail? We're talking about skills, how do you overcome a failure? You know, a lot of things come into this entrepreneurship and leadership. So it's all integrated into those subjects. And in all the projects that we do, we incorporate the leadership, entrepreneurship, and the African studies into it. Like I've indicated earlier on, we want our students to start being proud of themselves so that we kill this notion that we are this dark Africa where nothing much is happening. We also believe the 4 C's, which I know most of you know about, of critical thinking. It comes with PBL. We cannot have PBL without communication. They work in groups most of the time, very important, and they work collaborative. It makes them to have creative skills because once they are given a problem, they have to come up with a solution without the teacher telling them to do that. And they're capable of doing that as early as grade R and 1. Very, very smart. The next slide. Our school subjects. I indicated earlier, maybe let me start with the foundation phase because it's not indicated here. Foundation phase, we offer English, mathematics, and life skills. The 4th one is computing, which most schools do not do. And our computing entails also robotics. We go to intermediate phase. Intermediate phase, we have English, the first additional language, very important, same as in foundation phase is Setswana, which we introduced this year, and isiZulu. We do not have Afrikaans anymore. Why? We've noticed at the end of matric, our students are not doing well with Afrikaans, and it is not because the teachers are bad or the students don't understand. It is not a commonly spoken language. They always struggle with it. So parents, don't force your kids to do a subject they're struggling with. For senior phase, intermediate phase, we've got English, that FAL, which is Tswana and Zulu. We've got mathematics, natural science, social science, and technology. We also have life skills, and finally computing. For senior phase, which is your grade 7 up to 9, you've got the subjects there, Setswana, Zulu. By the way, English as home language is from grade R going up, actually from preschool. And we have technology, leadership, creative, RCMS, and computing. But if you look at in these subjects, we haven't indicated African studies, we haven't indicated entrepreneurship. It's all integrated into the subject. FET, there we don't have, no doubts about it, we have it. We have isiZulu, Setswana, and Afrikaans is still there. At Lyndhurst, we have it Afrikaans grade 11 and 12. At flare off. We have it 10, 11, and 12, but the aim is to phase it out. Mathematics is compulsory from grade 1 up to grade 12 because we believe our students are capable of doing mathematics. We take mathematics as a same skill as reading. Some students can read and they love reading. Some cannot love reading, but they know how to read. That's our belief. We have history, dramatic arts in both campuses, leadership, which is your life orientation, life sciences, accounting, geography, business studies, and IT. But what I need to make you aware is that IT has just been introduced at Lyndhurst for grade 10, and then dramatic art has just been introduced grade 10 at Flairhof. Next slide, please. Thank you, Piello. The next slide. We've lost Piello. Can you do the next slide, please? I think the last slide has to do with the fees, and I don't want to talk about the fees from my head. It involves lots of
Ma'am,
fees.
can you not see the spot in extramural activity?
Okay, yes, now I can see the extracurricular. Now, the extracurricular we offer is basketball. Is becoming very popular with the young boys. I don't know why. And then we have netball, soccer, hockey. We have cricket, which we've just introduced to the little ones. We're hoping with time, most parents will start, developing interest. You don't have to pay for the ones that I've indicated, but once we introduce dance, we've got someone we've hired to do dance, karate. Our students are going to Austria. You pay also for karate. Gymnastics, I will just introduce it at Lyndhurst, and the Flairhof parents are keen. So we're good to go. There's also ballet. You also have to pay it. So we want to introduce or to have a variety or a pool of these extracurricular activities. But if it is a team one like basketball, netball, soccer, hockey, and cricket, you don't have to pay. But once you get to the specialized ones, you do pay. But I need to highlight for the Lyndhurst parents, if your child is not in the swimming team and they need to know to learn how to swim, they have to pay for it, and we'll look for a tutor who will help them through at a very reasonable price. The next slide, Pielo. It's taking quite some time. Okay. I've mentioned issues like how do we deal with students if they're not coping with the 60% pass? We have a student support, which we call INTSIKA. What is this INTSIKA? We take it as more like your student support or student counseling committee. We would assign your child to a teacher where they meet on weekly basis. The whole point of INTSIKA is for us to talk about how was the week, how to reflect, how do you feel about the subject, what are you struggling with, and this is a go-to person as a parent if you have any issues, because there will be on and ongoing communication. I've seen some of the INTSIKA teachers would even visit the child at home if there are issues. So it all depends on the relationship that the child would have with the INTSIKA leader, which is your teacher. I've indicated the extra classes. I'm also head of schools, but I offer the extra classes. No one forces anyone to offer extra classes because we care about our students if they're not performing. We have the weekly communication that we'll send to you. We call it a weekly update. The weekly update will tell you what will be coming the following week, what you should expect. Your child will be having a test, a mini test, or a project is ready, and all of that. So it is very important that you make sure that you get all the correspondence. If you don't, especially the weekly one, you should say something is not right with my email address. You have to do something about it, because I've seen some parents, when we send them communication, it bounces back because it goes to spam. Sometimes it doesn't bounce back. It goes to spam, especially the work the work email addresses. The work email addresses, they tend to go to spam and parents would not get that. So please, preferably if you use the Gmail account. Next slide, please, here, PLO. Oh, yes, the great things that I spoke about, that we have our fees. The flare-off fees are different. We have preschool and annual with, if you pay without before the 31st of December, you are just left with a few days, you'll pay 38,000. Which implies you will be saving. You can see from 38 and you'll be saving something like 1.1 for paying before the 31st of December. And then grade R to 3, in total, it will be 39,100, but the discount is 38,000 also. Preschool, and there's also a discount. And then from 4 to 6, it is 42,000. From 7 to 9, 46,000, grade 10 to 12, 54,000. What I need to emphasize with the grade 10 to 12, the examination fee, the IEB examination fee has been included into the fee. So you don't have to worry that at the end of grade 11, I have to put aside something like 8 to 9,000. It's all included into the fees. And that is why it's a little bit higher than all the phases. But very important to note is that we do 10 installments. The first installment is always paid in advance. If you're paying for Jan, it means before the 1st of for the 1st of Jan, you should have paid. So for next year, you should by end of December paying for January. So your last installment will be before the 1st of October. So we do it in 10 months so that it gives you a break in order for you to start preparing for the next year. The registration fee for new enrollments only is 2,700, and then there's a levy that we give to we charge our parents. It includes money for, we use our buses to take our students to wherever, or sometimes if we have to hire a bus, because our buses is 22-seater, that covers it. It covers some of the sports expenses. Yeah, sports is very expensive, especially where they have to go and play with other schools. It also covers the IT that we use. It also covers the diesel that we use for a backup. So it is 3,000 per annum. Parents is only 300 a month. So we are really very, very low. Aftercare, 14,800. That applies only from grade R up to 3. Preschool, we don't charge for any aftercare. It is about 1,480, and it starts from 1:30 up to 5:30. There's a lady special who's hired to take care of that. So if you want to pay it cash, it is 14,800. That's for flare off. Now let's look at the Lyndhurst fees, PLO. Okay, the Lyndhurst fees, they're slightly higher. If you notice, a little bit, I don't even think it's 10% more. We have a preschool at 43,000. Do you see the annual discount there? You're saving a lot there, about you're saving something like 3,000. Grade R to 3, 43,000. 4 to 6, 47,000. 7 to 9, 51,100. Grade 10 to 12, 59,400. Exactly what I've explained earlier on that FET, which is your 10 to 12, you will definitely pay more because it includes your examination fee. It has been spread into 3 years. And look at the discounts that you get if you pay before the end of December. So your bonuses, if you get them, you might as well take advantage of the savings that you will get. The registrations you've seen underneath here, it's 2,800 for Lyndhurst, and the levy that I've explained, 3,000. Aftercare, it's 16,400. The aftercare does not include preschool. It's only from R to 3. But very important to emphasize is that please note that you pay your fees a month ahead. You don't pay at the end of the month for anything. Okay. Next one is, I think, is school gear. The school gear, we call it a school gear, not a uniform. Why do we call it a school gear? We believe our school, which parents call uniform, is flexible. We don't have a summer uniform. We don't have a winter uniform. If it is cold, your child feels they want to wear a tracksuit, they are allowed to do that. They don't have to look the same. If on that day they want to put a shirt and the chinos, they can do that. The other one can put a shirt and a golf shirt. They're allowed to do that. If we want them to be flexible in what they're doing, especially with the kind of teaching that we have. And it allows, that individuality. Some of them are more comfortable in tracksuit pants than they are in chinos, or they are in skirts. So, that's very important. And then it is available at Rufaro, at the Flare-Off campus. There's a mini shop there where you can buy them, or you can go to Rufaro, which is along the Colette Drive. And then please send in if there's anything that you would need concerning any of the questions into our chat box so that we answer your questions. Thank you so much. Okay, I could see so many questions coming in. Are you going to read them for me if you can, Pielo?
Thank you very much for the informative presentation, Meampo. We will be going through the questions. The first question is, my child is currently in a traditional school, and I would like to know what measures are in place to help them integrate with the new way of learning.
Great question. I like that question. Most parents always panic about it. Believe you me, I've never had a child who's not coping because of the project-based learning. Once they get into our program, wow, they love it because it's practical, it's theory put into practice. So don't worry about the child adapting into it. It takes them just a month. Even during orientation, we take them through what are the expectations, during orientation, by end of orientation, they would have gotten an opportunity to design a project. So do not panic about that. They might panic a little bit about performance. You'll find that first term we might say to you, your child did not meet the Future Nations requirements. By that, it means your child did not get 60% for all the subjects. Believe you me, with all of that, it takes them just a few terms for them to adapt to that. By end of the year, like I indicated, you'll find that 3 or 4 students are the ones failing per class. Otherwise, most of them are able to cope. Next question, Pielo. Thank you.
Thank you, Meampo. The next question is, how does PBL compare to the Cambridge curriculum?
Yeah. PBL is not a curriculum. Very important to emphasize. PBL is not a curriculum. It is a model we use to navigate our national curriculum. A curriculum is a CAPS is a curriculum. IB is not a curriculum, it's an exam board. Cambridge is a curriculum. You can use PBL also to navigate Cambridge. So just the difference there is the model that we are using. So any child or any curriculum in America, in Australia, they can use project-based learning. So that's the difference. Mm-hmm. Next question.
Thanks, Meampo. The next question is related to preschool. I think we touched on it earlier on in the presentation, but I think we might want to unpack it a little further. And it goes as such. I'm interested in enrolling my 2-year-old in your preschool next year. Will I need to pack food for her, or will you provide breakfast, snacks, and lunch?
Yeah, it depends on the parent. Like I indicated, there is warm lunch that is provided, but we don't provide breakfast. We don't provide anything. What we've noticed, we've had issues. You'll find that kids get sick because they get infected and all of that. COVID has taught us a lot of things. So you need to have a packed lunch for your daughter or your son. And then we take them as early as 18 months. We even do toilet training. Wonderful toilet training. Within a month or 6 weeks, they are toilet trained as early as 18 months. and they learn very fast because our philosophy that we use of project-based learning and Montessori believes that they can work better when they are with all ages. So it is very advisable for your child to join in as early as possible. Thank you. Next question, Pielo.
The next question is from Tuli Maswangai, starting off with saying, thank you very much for the session. Thank you for attending. This one is a two-tier question, with the first one being, please elaborate on the three-term school year. The second one being, bullying is a challenge in schools. How does the school address bullying? And have you had any incidences of bullying?
Okay. Yes, we are a three-term school. We have the first term we close immediately after the Easters for about a month. The other one will be somewhere in August, July, August, and then the last one is the December one. So in all, it looks like 3 full months. But if you check what we have is almost similar to the government days. It's just that ours is divided into 3 big chunks rather than 4 small chunks. It's a 3-term. Bullying definitely is there for the mere fact that our students come from different backgrounds. Why do I say bullying is there? What I'm trying to say is that there is no environment that does not have that. We do have what I've indicated to you, Insika. The Insika, this is where our students get support and counseling in case the child cannot talk about it. But what we have, which is very, very key, next year we're going to have workshops where we talk about bullying that involves parents. We notice that we're dealing with bullying in their schools, and some of the bullying, or 90% of the bullying, originates from home. The swearing, the clapping, the stealing, the whatever, originates from home. So we need to be in a 3-pot type of an organization where the teacher, the students, and the parents come into play, because it doesn't help us coming up. We have workshops, we call parents, we even call the police, we call so many people. What's the point of doing it when the background at home has not been spoken about? So that is in the pipeline, and we've spoken to a lot of psychologists. They definitely agree with us that we need ongoing workshops on bullying that involves even the parents. Thank you, Pielo. Next question.
Thanks, Ma'am. Before we get into the next question, I see there are some parents that are saying that they're having issues with audio. I'd just like to highlight that we will make the recording available, and we will send them the link to the recording. It should be available on Monday. The next question, Ma'am, is related to subject selection. It says, in the senior phase, which subjects are compulsory? Can you please elaborate on the subject selection, Ma'am?
Okay, when you talk about senior phase, I don't know if you're referring to grade 7 to 9. Grade 7 to 9, all subjects are compulsory. The ones that we've mentioned, maths, English, natural science, technology, you name them, creative arts, computing. I hope I've had them. Life orientation, which we call leadership, they are all compulsory. They take 10 subjects. But once they go to FET, which is your 10 to 12, that's where the choice would come in. And with the choice, we have humanities, we have the sciences and the commerce. Humanities are your history, geography, dramatic arts, blah, blah, blah. Your sciences are your math, science, physics, life sciences, which is your biology. Most people know it to be. And then your commerce are your business studies, accounting, and maths. But we do give students a liberty to play around. There are students who will take sciences with some little bit of business studies or some little bit of dramatic arts. So there is some little bit of flexibility when it comes to the choice of subjects. And it is also determined by the child's choice, not the parent's choice, and their performance at senior level, senior phase, at grade 7 up to 9. Thank you, Pierre. I don't know if I've answered the parent.
I believe you have, Ma'am. The next question is relating to transportation, and it just simply asks, do you offer transport?
We do not offer transport, but what we normally do during our meeting, you will see on somewhere on the 22nd up until the 25th of January, we're going to have a parents meeting. In parents meeting, that's where parents, you know, who are living in the same area meet, or the transport people, they give us the contacts so that you talk to them and say, hey, I need my child moving from this place to that place. So most of the students, I think we've got about, I think 10 to 20% of the students using a common transport, which helps. And some of them use common lifts. So if you attend our meetings, you'll definitely get a lot of communication within the community that will be there. Thank you. Next question, Pielo.
Sure, Mamampo. The next one is a very interesting one. Leadership, it's a leadership question, and it says, how is your school's leadership structured?
I don't know what it means, but what I can tell you is that we have Mr. Ngasana as the CEO and founder of Future Nation Schools, together with Judy Dlamini. They are both the founders. Caesar is also the CEO. From the CEO, we've got me as head of schools. By head of schools, it means I'm heading both schools. Then after that, we've got heads in both schools. After heads, one of the schools has a deputy, the other wouldn't have. So it's quite a flexible one. Then after that, we have lead phase heads. Phase heads are the ones who are taking care of senior phase, foundation phase, or whatever. And then after that, you get lead, subject leads, which also other schools call HODs. From HODs, then it would be teachers. So I don't know if I've answered your question. Is that the what you're referring to when you say how's our leadership structured?
Thank you, Mamampo. The next one is relating to aftercare, and it says, do you not offer aftercare services for other grades?
Yes, we don't offer aftercare for grade 4, 5, 6 up until 12, because we do not want the older students to combine with the little ones. But more than just that, their knocking off times is different. The intermediate phase, they knock off 2:30. High school, they knock off 3:30. The little ones who we offer aftercare knock off at 1:30. So the times are different, and they make, you know, that a little bit complicated. We're trying to avoid even unnecessary bullying and intimidation that comes from older students. Thank you, Pielo. Any next question? If there's any.
Yes, Mamampo, there is. We still have quite a few. The next one is related to our code in terms of hairstyles. And it says, are there any hair codes? I mean, we've seen a lot of stories in the news of children having issues in schools with their hair. So can you please just tackle that one now?
Yeah, we do not have any restrictions. No, let me say we do have restrictions. What I'm trying to say is that your child, as long as it is natural hair, we don't have a problem. You braid your hair with the color of your hair, we don't have a problem with that. The only time where we'll have restrictions, when your child starts coming in with blonde hair, or start coming in with light brown hair. That's not the natural color. Or having braids that go up to the knees. I don't know if you see, it's the in thing of late, and I've seen it with our students towards closing. I think they were just pushing the boundaries, where you'll find that they would braid up until to the knees, or they start having a blonde hair and all of that. That we do not allow. And for the little ones, would really appreciate if it is dreads, please tie the hair. It looks very neat as much as you can. And if it is afro, let it be neatly combed and all of that. Even if the very same things that you're talking about, they need to be washed. So we're not very particular about natural, being African and being yourself. We are very good to go. Same applies with what I'm wearing. If I remove this and I tie it, definitely acceptable. Thank you, Pielo. Next one.
Thanks, Mamampo. The next one is an admission question, and it reads as follows. My daughter wrote her assessment on Tuesday, and we haven't received any feedback yet. Please advise.
As of Tuesday last week, which campus is that?
There are no details on the campus, Mamampo.
Okay.
And I believe it is this past Tuesday.
Okay. If it is this past Tuesday, there should have been results have been posted to the parent. What I would request the parent to do, please send me an email concerning the name of your child, because if it is Lyndhurst, I was shown some of the results on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, on Thursday, and we had to look through. We've been having a problem with the marking because the teachers were still rounding off their own personal marking. So rather than making it 24 hours, it took them 48 hours. Please send me an email. I will follow it up. I should be able to come back to you by Monday as to how far your child is. Just indicate the name, which campus, then we should be able to give you the results as soon as Monday.
Thank you, Mamampo. Before we get into the next question, would you kindly just share your email address?
It's Mampho, MAMPHO, at futurenationschools.com. Then definitely I will attend to it as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mamampo. The next question is in relation to orientation and school gear. And the parent would just like to know if the students must wear the school gear on orientation day.
Yes, we'll really appreciate that. Orientation for us, we take it as an academic day. Let them wear the school gear.
Perfect. Thank you, Mamampo. Oh, we just got a message saying that the parent with the assessment question is from the Vleerhof campus.
Okay, great. I'll be at Vleerhof on Monday. I should be able to give the parent immediately an immediate response.
Great. Thank you, Mamampo. And we've got our last question, which is in relation to applications and admissions, which is, when is the closing date for the 2024 applications?
You know, at the moment, we're still at the mercy of most of the parents, but I need to give our parents a warning. There are grades that are popular, and if the parent delays, you might not get the space. So right now, what is delaying our closing? We should have closed the date by end of this month, but we've noticed some parents struggling with things, delays like, for example, an assessment or a delay with the report from the other school and all of that. So we're trying as much as we can to accommodate those parents, please, but we encourage them, apply as soon as possible. If you are struggling with online, come to the campus, people will help you. We are still open to applications because we understand that the parents are going through a lot and also getting the results from other schools. So we're still accommodating everyone up until as much, maybe the 15th of this month, depending on the struggles that they have. We are a very accommodative school, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mamampo. That was our last question for the session.
Sorry, Pielo. There is an extra question.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, Karen.
So the question reads as follows. My child is using PACE's ACE curriculum at her current school. How will she be assisted?
PACE. I wonder what that is. I've never heard of that curricula. I know so many of them. But believe you me, if it's if it is something that the parent is worried about, we can give the child an assessment just to check where the child could be. And assessment, we only give it for English and mathematics. And whether be it Cambridge or whatever, whether any other curriculum, and it aligns very well with our grades, the child should be able to cope with it because it's just simple comprehension skills. For maths, it's simple algebraic, mathematics. So the parent shouldn't worry that much that the child might fail if they are not using the CAPS or the national curriculum. So we will assess the child and we should be able to come up with something.
Thank you,
I see Tuli say thank you for the informative session. And it seems like Tuli is the one who was struggling with assessment. I should be able to come back to you as soon as Monday, Tuli. Send me an email. I'll tend to it as first thing in the morning.
Sorry, Mamlanga, we've also got another question around assessments, just in terms of when assessment dates will be communicated. So these will be communicated to parents who are sitting in that area by the schools team. If you haven't heard from the schools team on Monday morning, please just phone the school and ask for an assessment date directly.
Yeah. And the dates are not fixed. We always try to accommodate the parents according to their availability.
Correct. And just to let parents know as well, so we have put it into the chat, but parents who do want to come to campus to do the application in person, we will be on campus every day next week except Friday because it's public holiday, and the week thereafter between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. for parents. There is a list of documents that you do need to bring through to do an application, so copies of license, ID documents, report cards, etc., birth certificates for your child. But you can reach out to the marketing team who sent the emails through to you to invite you to the session, and we'll send you that full list of what is required. You don't need to bring copies in. The team on the ground can also assist in terms of scanning your forms indirectly for the application. Thanks, Mamlanga.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Mamlanga. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone who took time out of their day on a Saturday morning to attend this very informative session. And as you can see, if you can't come in physically to the school for applications, our website is on the screen and you can just do an online application and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.